Hi everybody, I'm going to try and make another video for you all tonight. Um, there's a couple different things that I wanted to talk about, a couple different topics. One of them is about unforgiveness and bitterness. You know, there was different times in my life that I've lived at different apartment buildings, and sometimes there would be problems. Sometimes some of the tenants drank a lot or had a drug problem, and it affected people around them. And it was easy to get really bitter and angry and resentful, because people on drugs and alcohol, they really upset the natural balance, of just whatever it is, where they live at, the people they deal with. Everything gets thrown into chaos. And, and then I've lived places where I had really domineering neighbors. That last place I lived, I had a lady next door that just really wanted to be bossy. She wanted to be in control. And that was miserable. She wanted to tell me how to live my life. Some of her ideas were probably okay, but some of them weren't. And that friendship didn't work out. It didn't last. And I ended up moving out of there feeling really bitter and angry and really resentful of just a lot of the different people I met there that were just way out of line, the way they treated others. And like I said, some of them drank, some of them did drugs, some of them were just really bossy and domineering. But whatever the issue, there was a lot of hurt and bitterness there. And then when I came over here, I had some issues with some of the women that had lived here. Two of them have passed away, actually, but there was a tremendous amount when they were alive of bitterness and hurt, and maybe some unforgiveness towards them because there had been different things said or done that left both of us really, or all of us, me and the one lady that had the dog, and then the other lady that lived right next to me. It just left a lot of problems in the friendship. And, sometimes there becomes bitterness and anger. It's hard sometimes. You really struggle, and then I know last year me and Bonnie had some misunderstandings. And, I was really hurt about that, and I think she probably was too, for quite a while. And the Lord showed me, here lately that He really didn't like how all these situations with different neighbors at my old place I lived and here, how that caused me to change and to become bitter and kind of to have some unforgiveness there. And me and Bonnie made up some time ago and started talking, and it's for the best, you guys. It's not good to stay bitter and angry with people, especially people where you live at, because you guys, more and more, when people find a comfortable place to live, it's such a hassle to just pack up and move because there's somebody you don't get along with, or somebody, you haven't really forgiven, or whatever it is. It's just not practical, and packing up and moving is such an ordeal. It's not fun or easy, and it costs a lot to pack up and move and pay a deposit and start all over. It's not easy. And rather than having to do that, it's so much better if you're able to forgive the other person, pray for them, and just pray for God's will on that friendship. Maybe you both had a misunderstanding. You never know. And, the devil, he likes to pit people against each other. He likes to get neighbors fighting. And that's one of his big tactics, is to get people fighting. And then he puts bitterness in their heart, and he puts unforgiveness in their heart, or he puts it in their mind. And then, if they don't reject that thought and they're like, oh yeah, I hate how this woman treated me, and I wish I'd never met her, and, she ruined my life, and I'll never forgive her. He can put those thoughts in your mind. And it's up to you to reject that. Say, no, Lord, I forgive her. I'm just going to let this go. Heal this friendship if it's your will. If not, Lord, I just pray for her, and I pray for myself to just let things go, not hold grudges or unforgiveness, and just move on and be happy. And that's how you have to do it. You can't let the devil get a foothold in your life. And I think so many times over the years, when I've made videos about just different situations, that I let a lot of bitterness and unforgiveness, kind of come out of whatever was going on. If there was a disagreement or whatever, I let it really get to me, and I let it bother me. And then at some point, I just didn't forgive like I should have. And that's been a big struggle all my life, is forgiveness, you guys, because when I grew up, I didn't grow up around people that forgave each other and loved each other. I grew up around a lot of just wicked, hateful people that fought all the time at the drop of a hat. And it wasn't even funny. It was like, they would fight just over anything, and then they wouldn't speak forever to each other, and then they would harbor such anger and unforgiveness, and it would really hurt people. There was times different sisters that me and my mom lived with, there was times that they would not get along. And my sisters were way, way older than me. They had boyfriends and they lived with their boyfriend. It's not good. It wasn't of the Lord. But that's what they would do. And then my mom would, because she didn't want to work for a living, I don't know what she had against it, but she would get down on her luck, and, doing illegal things only lasted so long, and then she'd need a place to stay. And I don't know what her problem was, why she was like that. If it was just greed, I don't know, but so we would stay with different sisters. And at some point in time or another, you guys, there'd be a big fight, a big argument. And it'd be between my mom and my sisters. I never really got in the middle of anything or started any problem. I wasn't like that. But so they would have a big fight and a big disagreement, and then we would be hurt. My mom's feelings would be hurt. The different sisters that we stayed with, their feelings were hurt. I didn't know what to do or say, and so I was like, oh gosh, now what? And they never made peace or like apologized. I never remember them coming together and saying, I was really kind of out of line, or I misunderstood you, I'm sorry. Nothing, you guys, ever. As a matter of fact, my mom would usually call one of my other sisters up, and she'd be like, this one here, it's not working out, blah, 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 and my mom would be crying and upset. And so then we'd pack everything up and we'd head over to that other sister's. And that wouldn't last long. There would be some kind of fight or misunderstanding or who knows what, and then we'd have to move and we'd go stay with some other sister. And it was really hell, you guys. That was so miserable. And it was miserable also. It was miserable also because the devil just worked so strongly in that family. You guys, none of them were Christians. None of them even knew what a Christian was. I remember they used to, when they were teenagers, well, I think when I was born, they were like, I don't know, you guys, they were quite a bit older than me. They were already older teenagers when I was born, but I remember seeing pictures of them with different crosses and Christian jewelry on. And I don't even think they knew what it really meant or what it represented. I really don't. I think that they put it on as a piece of jewelry. I don't think they put it on because they had any clue what it represented or anything. And it's so sad, you guys, because people go to hell for bitterness and unforgiveness too. And my one sister, she died pretty young. I think she was 39 or 40 when she died from kidney problems. She had been on drugs and alcohol her whole life, really big time. And, the Lord showed me she was in hell. And tonight when I was laying here, taking a break a little while, I closed my eyes and started to take a nap. He was showing me, her old trailer, that one of many that she lived in. And it was so weird. He was showing me her bathroom. I remember her bathroom was connected to her bedroom. And, I mean, it had a door that led to her bedroom and then a door that led to the hallway from the bathroom. And when I was standing there, I was thinking, this is Jackie's old, her name was Jackie. And I thought, this is her old trailer. And it was so weird. And when I thought that, I heard like her crying and screaming and just being in agony. And I knew he was letting me hear her and that she was in hell and that she was just in misery. And that's what torments, all of that stuff. And he was showing me that. And it was so sad because I thought, it was really hard, you guys, when your family's in hell forever. And when the Lord shows you that, it's something that's very difficult to just forget. You really don't. you know? It always kind of stays with you a bit. And, it's just really sad because that whole family, like I said, had so much bitterness, so much anger, so many unresolved emotions. They never went to the Lord, I'm sure, never. And they never said, "You all, let's sit down and pray. Let's let God lead our life. Let's see what he wants us to do about something," or you know what I mean. Give it to the Lord. Never did that family ever do that or talk like that. And it saddens me a lot, you guys, because, my grandparents, they must have never been taught about the Lord. And they didn't teach my mom about it. And my dad's parents, they must have not taught him much of anything about the Lord. And then when they had kids, my older sisters, they didn't teach them nothing ever, because I never remember them ever mentioning anything about the Lord or nothing, you guys, or reading the Bible or going to a church, nothing. And that's how that whole family was. And it's so sad because it's like my grandparents are in hell, and the ones they taught and raised their children, a couple of their kids are in hell, my mom and my dad, and then some of my mom's siblings. My dad didn't have any siblings. And, or he supposedly had a half sister, but you guys, I'm not going to get into that. I don't know enough about that. And I don't know if she's still living. I don't know any details. So anyways, my grandparents are in hell. My parents are in hell. My one sister that has passed away is there. And it's like so many generations have gone to hell in my family. And it's just it's very sad. Out of all those generations, none of them was able to break the cycle of just not knowing about the Lord, not surrendering their life to him. They weren't able to fix that, and they didn't grow spiritually. They didn't mature spiritually, and they went to hell. And you guys, out of my remaining family, I have 2 sisters left. I have a whole bunch of cousins, 2 aunts that are left alive. The others have passed on. I don't have any uncles left. I have, Jackie was the only one of my sisters, and myself included, that had any children. And so my nieces and nephews, she had several kids. All of these people, you guys, all of these people are probably just going to go to hell. And it's really sad because none of them that I know of, unless some of them did a complete turnaround. The last times that I've talked to them, spoken to them over the years, um, you know, th- they didn't want the Lord in their life. They didn't go to church. They didn't want to hear anything about it. And I haven't spoken to most of them in many years, but the few things I've heard about them and whatnot all, I didn't see any change in their life or that they wanted to live their life for the Lord or whatever, didn't see it. And I think most of them are heading to hell, and I really think they are, you guys. They live worldly, sinful lives. There are a couple of them. I know a couple of them for sure. I don't know about the rest of them, but they're into heavy metal. And remember, I'm always telling you about worldly music to stay away from it. It opens up portals for demons to come through. And, a couple of them are into heavy metal music. I don't know about my sister's kids. They probably are. That's real big in that city where they lived in. I know a couple of my cousins and their kids are into heavy metal, and so much of the heavy metal, you guys, is absolutely demonic. If you listen to some of the lyrics of some of those bands, it's pure demonic. Slayer is one of them. Pure demonic stuff, you guys. Metallica is another one. I know it's a little different band. It doesn't maybe have pentagrams, obviously, because, it's a different type of band, but they still have demonic stuff in their music. Even just hard rock. Look at AC/DC, look at a lot of hard rock. I'm not even going to sit here and try to give you a list. Worldly music is frequently demonic. And then the same cousins that are into that, they drink heavily, and they've given up to the god of this world, to the devil. You guys, this is going to cut me off. I'm going to make a second part in just a minute, so if you want to hear more, come back for the second part. I'm sorry I can't fit it all on this video. Okay, you guys, talk to you in a bit.